Okay, so today I'm talking about strategy, the most important thing when building a business, whether you're a startup or an existing company, right? So we're rolling out a strategy now inside all of my companies. I want to talk today about why, I'm going to talk about the how, I'm going to talk about what's involved, and I'm going to talk about the goal of the strategy when we execute it and what's the time horizon to get that result. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to start off with the intent and the why we would do a strategy, right? I think strategy is critically important. I think most companies and founders or CEOs don't wrap framework and barriers around the execution of activities inside a company to generate results. Whew, that's a lot, but it's true. So for me, I need to understand exactly what we're going to achieve and when we're going to achieve it, right? So then I can hold people accountable to that. And I think without that framework, it's very difficult to understand where the company's going. You end up being like Bambi wandering through the forest, right? And trying to figure out where you're going. And like I've said before, you could walk off the end of a cliff, and what that means is the company goes bankrupt. So I'm very secure around the financial revenue of a company and its cost centers, and then trying to determine what the KPIs and what the people inside the business, especially the management and leadership team, are doing to execute against the strategy document. So I've put together a document for my leadership team that's 37 pages. Now, that document will grow over time. That document should end up being a strategic execution document. So it'll go through different stages based on the time horizon of what we want to achieve based on revenue, KPI, and activity, right? So that's sort of the ethos or the secret sauce for what drives my strategy. This strategy I've written currently in this month and executing this month is for 16 months, right? Now, I just want to highlight document intent. I think when you go to launch a strategy, you have to have the buy-in of the people who will be executing against the strategy. And it's not just the founder, it's a CEO. If you've got a CMO, the COO, the sales director, right? The operations manager, all those people have to come on board in alignment with it. So you've got to write it with the right intent in mind. I think that's really critical. I'm just going to run through a couple of things that I've written here. The purpose of this document is to reflect on past decisions made within the company to identify and evaluate poor decisions and actions previously made, ensuring that they are not repeated. So what that means is I'm setting the narrative or that thread, right? That red line about this is what happened last time. We don't want to make the same mistakes twice. So I need to put it out there in its first intent or its first issue that we're doing this because we made bad decisions and we don't want to duplicate that, right? Additionally, this document establishes a standard for the company by evaluating the necessary actions for the upcoming financial year, so 2024 or 2025, and the creation of effective frameworks to support that growth, right? Furthermore, the document aims to eliminate distractions and enforce focus. Again, intent, ensuring all leaders maintain absolute focus and prevent duplication of activities and misaligned priorities. In my companies, what I found last year is that we had a lot of managers stepping on each other's toes, doing the same thing, and focused on projects that were ex-projects on the edge of the company and bringing those into the forefront, where the forefront should be just about strategy. So we pushed a few things to the side that we shouldn't have, and that cost us a lot. And I want to make sure through intent that that doesn't happen again. These observations and evaluations are intended to foster informed decisions within the business and align with the founder's vision, which is my vision, and assessment of the company's current state. All right, so I've done an assessment. So what I'm saying to the team is, I've done an assessment of the company. We did some great things, we did some poor things. I'm going to take the poor things and the great things, I'm going to pull them together, and I'm going to hold you guys accountable for the execution of the strategy that's inside the document. That's a lot, and it may seem like a lot, but it's actually, it's not, because the document should be executed in terms of strategy quite slowly, right? So you have to walk everybody through. So even though the strategy is quite broad and it's quite big and it goes for 12 to 16 months, you want to work in iterations. So the first iteration is nice and light. It's basically getting people used to the strategy and understanding what it is and setting a narrative around it and a culture around it and a vision around it, and then bringing everybody together and having dialogue and discussion, right? Using candor and being transparent about what's going to be hard and what is going to be easy, and what our core focuses are, and that we stay away from distractions, because the whole point of a strategy is to eliminate distractions and increase focus on tasks that convert, right? I go through a synopsis of about stagnant growth and lack of defined strategy. So I really break that down for the team inside this document. Now they take this away and read this, by the way, and then they have to bring that into the business. So I really want to highlight some of the poor execution elements that we displayed in the last financial year to ensure that those don't happen again. I've really broken those down into certain compartments or departments, right? So systems, policies, procedures, HR systems, management resources, and IT and technology. I've identified those areas as some of the areas of concern. Innovation was a concern, quality reporting, management development and succession, commercial financial management, governance, and vision. So that's the ethos of what this document is all about. I talk about our current status. I think it's good to understand, again, where you currently are in the month that you're launching the strategy. And it's okay if it's not great. It'll help you identify where the line is so you can move forward and not go backwards. So I want to talk about corporate goals. You have to have goals as part of the strategy, right? So what's the result? The whole document should lean towards the results, and it should be on a time horizon. So you should know exactly where you're going to get to each quarter, and that you measure and report on that, which is critically important. Let me run you through the corporate goals that I have set up for the company as we roll the strategy out over the next 12 months. The first thing is 2x the revenue. The target, a 2x increase in revenue over the next year while establishing a strong foundation of future growth. That's a big one. Now, inside the strategy, there's all these sub actions that are attached to that big sweeping statement of 2x in the revenue, which is a difficult one. But so you go broad and then break the strategy down to smaller parts. The next thing on corporate goals, I've got diversification. Expand the company's offerings and markets to ensure financial security. So what that means is we're looking to diversify, say, lead acquisition. We're all vertical in our lead acquisition right now, and I think we need to diversify that into other areas. Do the research, do the analysis, and look at what that looks like. I've got here enhanced focus. Improve focus and clarity for all leaders and teams to streamline efforts and maximize efficiencies. That goes back to what I said at the start of this video, is that I think we had a lot of leaders standing on each other's toes doing the same thing. And what we need to identify is that if we want to eliminate cross-contamination of tasks and be more efficient, we have to have clear demarcation lines for each leader to operate in, right? So what's their lane, and make sure that they stay in that lane. That should be the responsibility of the CEO and the founder, by the way. Expansion. Grow EFLA by acquiring or developing new business opportunities. As part of our strategy for the next 12 or 16 months, we will be looking at per acquisition, right? So looking at businesses that align to our current portfolio, and how can we integrate those businesses into what we currently do, and then how do we connect that service offering to our existing service offering and to our customer and our clients. So we will purchase 1 or 2 new businesses in the next year. A technology enhancement, advanced technology capabilities, including the development of AI solutions. So we have our large language model set up for each business now, right? We did that a long time ago, and we've been training those large language models. So we like to walk slowly in terms of AI. We don't want to run too fast because the technology is changing so rapidly. When you move too fast ahead, you have to come back again and start again because the technology's changed. I don't think personally AI technology is where it needs to be for my companies. I think we need to wait a little bit longer. I think there's some things that work really well. We'll lean into that, and some things that are not quite developed good enough. What this goal means is that we want to incorporate AI. We need to be very considered when we do it, and we need to invest in the right areas and not over-invest in technology that hasn't been developed yet. Systems and governance. I think governance is critical. Whether you're looking at IPO, whether you're looking to raise capital, whether it be VC or angel, or whether you're looking to sell or exit a company, right? Without governance, you cannot do that. And what I mean by governance is that you have the systems, the policies, the processes that underpin the company foundationally, that the company can leverage and grow upon. Our governance is pretty poor. I identified that last year, so we're looking to improve that and throw in some resources at systems and governance. So what that means is formalize all systems and establish robust governance structures. Market share diversification. Broaden market share across different sectors and regions. These companies operate in Australia. There's a subclass population of 27, 28 million people. If I was just having a conversation this morning, if you compare that to the US, which is 380 million, or to India, 1.23 billion people, what we understand is when I look at the data is that there's only X amount of products you can sell at a percentage conversion in a market that's so big. I think we need to diversify. So that means we need to look at other external and international markets. So I want to see how we penetrate those markets, what market we should penetrate first, test and acquire over a period of time over the next 12 to 16 months, and what that looks like. So that's part of our corporate goals and strategy. The last one I've got here is continual improvement. So strive for excellence and improvement in all aspects, details to follow. The reason why I put that, because I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Here's the deal, right? If you want to grow a successful company, just be fucking good at what you do. In the current market, everyone is running around being highly average, and there are no companies who are really, really good at what they do. And I see it around every corner. I'm in the meetings with these companies, you know, I'm on the virtuals with these companies where there's 20 directors or CEOs and founders talking about their companies. A lot of them, even though they're talking about quality and being the best in the market, they're not putting the hard work in. Continuous improvement is a strategy. Some people may disagree with me. I think it's an absolute strategy, and I think it underpins basically everything we do. Because if we're going to sell a product to a market, make it the best fucking product the market's ever seen. Like if you want to grow a company, that's a marketing strategy in itself that costs you $0. That is fully organic. Those people who purchase your product will just recommend you to other people. It's like when you read a great book or see a great movie, you tell people about it. So I'm sort of pizza big on this right now, and I think if we can really lean into that with the other 7 components of our corporate goals and our strategy, we can 2x our revenue, and I think we can do it relatively easy. So that's what we've got in our strategy. We've got key 7 goals. We probably have a formation of around 30 different execution strategies as part of that. It's currently a 40-page estimated document right now. I think when we're finished with this at the end of the first quarter, it'll be a 100-page document, right? So my advice, even if you're a startup or you're an existing company turning over millions of dollars, you should have an annual strategy, and then you break that down into quarters, and then you break that down into months, and you could even break that down into weeks if you want. You bring your team together, you do reviews, you have good reporting in place, you look at what's working, what's not working, and then you iterate and continually improve. And if you do that, you can have a very, very successful business.